Thank you for joining with me and my family at this time. This memorial was planned as a commemoration of the life of my first daughter, Bayo Ayaba Callender. She left this life in the morning hours of October 9th, 2023, and for that and other reasons, some of which we may share, I hate Mondays. It will be a year and 2 months since the word cancer barged into my domestic life. Suffice it to say that Bayo's diagnosis from the onset was grim. We tried to beat the odds, but despite our best efforts, we were not able to do so. At first, I felt not just lost, but silently mad in every aspect of that word. It has taken a lot for me to get to this day. When I was finally able to gather my thoughts, which have been scattered since Bayo's diagnosis in late May, I have tried to get myself organized as now I had a life-changing situation. When Bayo got the diagnosis, things looked bleak. A stomachache followed by the prognosis of death. We just didn't know how long this road would be. Nonetheless, this day has come. I wanted Bayo's friends and fellow workers to gather to think about her and her life's mission. Bayo Callender led a purposeful life, and her work continues. I have thought long and hard about how I wanted to approach today, what I wanted to share with you and hear from you about my child. I have earnestly tried to refrain from being angry or bitter or just depressed at the sudden loss of my firstborn. I have and am still going through the various stages of grief. I know that there will always be a hole in my heart for this loss, and I will visit with her in spirit often. I wanted this gathering to be somber and caring, sharing, and with an even tone. I wanted this time together to be a place that were Bayo able to join us from wherever she is, she would enjoy being here. This remembering and evoking of her spirit and remembering her in name and deed, which is the spirit of our forefathers. So it's all right to laugh and smile. If the comments strike you as such, I think she would like that. Before her birth, Bayo's mother's family was immersed in the affairs of Black people through a number of organizational efforts, starting with her great-grandparents and running intergenerationally to me and mine. This was our calling. The Carter family tree is small, but with Bayo and Aisha, we are now in the fourth generation. The family's work is based on service with its focus on the Black community. When Bayo was born, her father, Herbert Callender, and I were actively embracing our African heritage, capturing a continent light years away in body and mind from our public reference, hence the name choices we made for her. Bayo was always an interesting child, and she grew up to be an interesting person. Her curiosity was boundless. She was always recognizably, competitively intelligent, even from the start of her life, and she was serious about most things. I drove my children to see and partake of America, of the world in its bounty and beauty, not just to see the ugliness and its spoilage. Out of our single, family-headed household, we went many places and did many things. I was driven to make the best out of our circumstances. We could not afford to fail. Every weekend was either ballet or science or math class. Regardless of our limitations, we wanted to achieve, to become. I am proud of them, Bayo, a lawyer, Aisha, a registered nurse. While I could take some credit, the bulk of the credit for their achievements are deservedly their own. I passed along a travel bug to them. As a family, we went to Jamestown and Monticello, to Mount Vernon to Mississippi, and some of the places in between. I wanted them to see the world, big and diverse, and in many ways beautiful. Many people don't go beyond a mile or two from the area of their birth, but there's so much more to the world to see and to know. I wanted them to know, especially math and languages, to be open to various people and not taken in by deception or avarice. We all do our best. Bayo is a product of the New York public school system. She tested into the junior and senior high schools of her choice. Bayo went to Hunter College. There, she worked in work study with handicapped students and really gained a profound insight on the societal shortcomings these challenges presented. Some of the students were severely challenged and their conditions stayed with her. So she also worked with a program preparing children for court. These children were the victims of sexual abuse and were in the next day or so to face their perpetrators in judicial proceedings. After she left high school, I sent her to England, where she was supposed to have been exposed to Shakespeare. She was not impressed. That aside, England was an earlier experience abroad of her being on her own. When she finished Hunter, I sent her to China, grabbing on a special summer program at Yale. Bayo was introduced to Hong Kong right at the historic period of the takeover, which was really handing back to China that tiny but economically vibrant island, a trophy of the British colonial past. I wanted her to know China, to see it as a non-tourist, to see it with the rising sun and where possible in the night, unvarnished, as much as she could manage. She went to China with a few directives for me. Learn Mandarin, see for yourself that reality, witnessing what she could of the decolonization firsthand, and to be fearless as far as common sense and circumstances would allow. We are all different. Nonetheless, it was clear then, as it is unquestionably now, the Chinese are and will be important on the international stage. I wanted her to be in the front ranks if possible. She had the capability. Endeavoring to stay in China, we didn't have the money to run back and forth. Bayo embarked on anchoring herself in a foreign language program on the mainland. She was welcomed to the foreign language school in Dalian in the north near Harbin on the Yalu Bay. You know that confidence if you know her at all. It was not until the battle of cancer that Bayo could not and did not somehow manage to prevail. In China, equipped with the remains of her brand new computer, which burned up by the current, along with an international replacement contract, the store owner refused to acknowledge it. Bayo flagged down a cop, and off they went to court that very day. With her trusty Chinese English dictionary, Bayo took the owner to court, and with some help from the dictionary to determine a replacement based on the contract guaranteeing replacement anywhere. 3 hours later, after what must have been a laborious exchange in Mandarin, and maybe to the amusement of the judge, the court ordered in favor of Bayo, and she received her replacement computer, and her confidence in herself was reborn anew. While in Asia, she was helping to train Chinese restaurant workers in Western service expectations. She taught Chinese children English while she worked on her Mandarin. She traveled to many places in China, Laos, Thailand, and the Philippines. She even got to the mouth of the Golden Triangle. Bayo visited a holy mountain in Japan and stayed at the home of a Japanese friend. Visitors to Japan know how extremely rare it is for a foreigner to be invited to visit in the home, much less to stay with a Japanese family and to travel with them for religious purposes. Bayo was an honored guest. Not yet done, Bayo traveled to the Philippines, making several stops within the island country. She did mountain trekking in Nepal, having the good sense to avoid the call for whitewater rafting. She was taking it all in. She saw the Filipino amas quietly gathering in the lobby of certain large buildings in Hong Kong on certain days, quietly talking and eating lunch so far from home with so little governmental protection. People in this world were in trouble. After China, there was Columbia University, where she was degree seeking, clinching a master's degree in international relations. Then there was law school in the Midwest. During that time, she worked in a law clinic where she ultimately wrote new law benefiting victimized elderly. Later, another job gave her graphic insight into the vulnerabilities of parentless children, whether from institutional or personal neglect. Both are horrible in their own right. At the end of law school, there was Europe. Through the facilitation of a professional friend, an opening at The Hague was made possible, and it was there that Bayo's adult life stabilized. It was at the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia that she clerked for 3 judges and was very active in the staff union. After Holland, unable to secure a contract that would allow her to stay, Bayo pulled up stakes and moved to Sweden, which was a roller coaster financially and stressfully emotionally. Unhappiness exists in many places, and if the unhappiness does not find a way out, it inflicts harm and paints a grim world. On a cold day in Sweden, Bayo got a call, a letter, and ultimately a package for a job at the World Bank Group. Some people in a position to determine hiring were looking for someone with Bayo's credentials. Finally, it looked like all of this preparation would now come together, and Bayo could apply her totality to the totality of the issue, race and its many tentacles in the work environment. Potentially, the effect could be global with its ramifications inside of a major institution. Then she got back to the US, found an apartment, got busy, and ultimately became sick. The rest you know. Cancer in women is a new territory, I found out. Women as a specific group are not studied in medical school, at least not to the extent of the male. Hence, cancer in women's health is not well researched. It is hard to believe that in 2024, women's health is years behind. Cancer in Black women has been noted to be more aggressive than in other groups. Why is that? The American Cancer Society this year has initiated a longitudinal study of 20 years to look at this problem. It is too late for Bayo, but at least it is the beginning somewhere, somehow. Know that the work continues. I have launched a Bayo Callender Memorial Fund housed here at the Brooklyn Society. In the end, you will see a short notice about this. Whoever you are, wherever you are, bring your talents and values of hope and human respect to your environment and make a change. Sharing some of my sentiments about Bayo and giving you an opportunity to do so is a small effort of encouragement for those of you on the pathways of fighting on behalf of human justice and fairness. This is your opportunity to share with me and those of us gathered here about your life and your times with Bayo Ayaba Callender. Thank you.